What's up, guys? How we doing today? Hope y'all are doing fantastic. Today, I wanted to just touch a little on the Karmello Anthony story. I know you've all heard about that, but I just wanted to give you my thoughts on it, and yeah. So we'll talk about that here in a second. Be right back. Okay, so Carmelo Anthony, we've all heard about that. It was the high school kid that stabbed the other high school kid, and we've all heard about it. And the reason why I'm just now getting to it, it's because I just wanted some of the actual facts to come out before I just jump the gun on judgment, and because I'm not the judge, I'm not the jury, and I just wanted to give my opinion because you know everybody has their opinion, but I wanted to wait till some of the actual facts from both sides come out, because like as soon as you hear the story, everybody just jumps to either racism or hate or the kid's guilty. It was premeditated. Everybody just seems to like jump to judgment on stuff. So I just wanted to kind of wait a little bit, let the story develop a little bit, and let some of the facts come out before we actually, before I actually come on and talk about it. Because, anyway, it is what it is. But Karmello Anthony, he's kind of lately been talking about like, it was self defense. I was protecting myself. And there's some people that we don't believe in self defense now. I mean, but is it really actually self defense? That's the question we're faced with. And and for me, I like to get like I said, I like to get both sides of the story. If you've seen my videos, I try to kind of make you think a little bit, like try and hear it from both ways, because there's both sides of the story, because there's facts that we don't know. Like on this story here, there's things that we don't know. We weren't there. We didn't see it. We weren't, so we don't know. We're just jumping the gun. We just know what the media is telling us, and that's all. And we're gonna, and you're gonna side with the side of the media that you believe. If you believe one way, you're gonna believe it, and it doesn't matter. But and too many people they just jump right to the race card. They're talking about, yeah, if it was the other way around, he'd be, they'd be rioting in the streets, and there probably would be if because if you don't know the story, it was a black kid brought a knife to a high school track meet, and there was a slight, from what I gather, it was a slight altercation. It wasn't like a major deal. Brought a knife to a high school track meet. He was sitting in the other team's tent for whatever reason that I don't know. Y'all might. I don't know why he was in the other tent, but he was in the other tent sitting in somebody's seat, and the other kid from the team that he was from the teams that whose tent he was sitting in came up and told him to leave, and he wouldn't leave, and he went to kind of get him to leave, and Carmelo just said, "Well, touch me and find out what happens." And then I guess he grabbed him and tried to get him to move, and Carmelo stabbed him in the heart. It was only one time, stabbed him once in the heart, and it ended up killing him. But so if you don't know the story, it's just kind of a quick rundown. I'm sure everybody's heard of the story. It's all over the place. But a lot of people are talking like, well, if the white kid was the one that stabbed the black kid, there'd be rioting in the streets, and he'd be locked up forever, and he'd probably be getting the death penalty. And now they're trying, and some are, well, since he's black, he was, they're trying to fight for self defense, for whatever, and it's get the facts before you jump to conclusions. It has my opinion is it has nothing to do with race. It does to everybody else, but from where I see it, is a kid died that probably didn't deserve to die, regardless what happened, regardless if it was a fight, regardless if it was whatever happened. Did he deserve to die for that? White, black, whatever color your skin is, did you deserve to die for it for that? I mean, but some of the facts, I mean, for one, the Constitution says innocent until proven guilty. And there's so many people out there that have been just automatically, kid's guilty, he's guilty, hang him, throw him in prison, give him the death penalty. That was premeditated murder. So many people are quick to find him guilty right now. He's guilty. No, but according to the Constitution, a lot of you people that are doing that are trying to back the Constitution. You're trying to back the Second Amendment and the First Amendment. And you're all about Constitution, constitutional rights, but yet you're technically, according to the Constitution, you're innocent until proven guilty in the court of law. He may look guilty. He may be guilty. We may all know that he's guilty, but you're innocent until proven guilty in a court of law for all you constitutional people that are like, Constitution, it's our rights, it's our privileges, it's our Constitution says so. Well, the Constitution says you're innocent until proven guilty. Doesn't matter if you're black, white, doesn't matter if it's blatantly obvious that you did it. You're innocent until you've been proven guilty in a court of law. Let's see. Took some notes. I'm trying to find out where I'm at here on my notes. Like I said, I'm not the judge or the jury. I don't have all of the facts. They're still trying to talk to witnesses. They're still trying to gather information, gather facts, and like I said, he's trying to call it self-defense. But based on the facts that we do have, I'm not sure if that's going to go over very well. But I mean, some of the facts that we do have, and there's contradicting stories to some of these facts. I mean, one, he had a knife at school. Why'd you bring a knife to the school? Why'd you have a knife in the school? You were in the wrong tent. Why were you in the wrong tent? See, these are some of the questions we need to be asking. It's not necessarily what happened, but why. Why did it happen? Like, why was he in the wrong tent? Why was he there? Was he there just because he was confused and didn't understand that he was in the wrong tent, or was he in the wrong tent to start something? Based on the information we're getting, it kind of sounds like he was there to start something, not necessarily start a fight or to kill somebody, but just to kind of be cool. And I'm not moving. This is, was it raining? Could you just be trying to get out of the rain? Why was there a tent there? I've been to track meets and there were no tents there, but that was a long time ago when I was in high school. I ran track in high school, but that's beside the point. Did they know each other before? I mean, some people are saying they did. Some people are saying they didn't. It's like there's contradicting stories. Some people said they knew each other beforehand, and some people said there was a fight earlier, and some say there weren't. That's the facts we don't know. That's the facts we're getting both sides of. We don't know. We don't know those facts. So it's like, should we call him guilty right now until we get these facts? Because what if it was? What if he was just, or what if his twin brother? What if they were ganging up on him? And what if there's things we've got to look at before we can just deem him guilty. But the thing with the self-defense was his life actually in danger? Because I mean, if he was just trying to, because if this Austin kid, the kid that died, was just trying to push him off of his chair, is your life really in danger for that? I mean, really, is that a life-threatening deal if the other kid's just trying to push you off the thing? Is that a reason to stab somebody? And for those of us that carry guns and carry knives and carry guns, and we're self-defense advocates, we know that you kind of, as common sense, you kind of have a duty to retreat unless your life is in imminent danger. And that's the problem that's going to kill him on the self-defense thing, was Did Austin have a weapon? Did his twin brother, anybody else try to gang up on him? Or did he just touch me and I'll kill you? And he got touched, and see, that's the thing. What was his motive? What was his intention? What was his... I mean, regardless what his motive and intention was, he killed somebody. But is it first degree murder? There again, it's tough. He brought his knife to school, sat in another team's tent, in the opposing team's tent, arguably this may not be true, but to start some kind of an altercation. Kind of sounds premeditated to me. I mean, but again, like I said, I don't have the facts. I don't have the information. I'm not the judge. I'm not the jury. I'm not the lawyer. I'm nothing. All I have is what the news is saying from both sides. You hear the people that are defending the killer. You hear the people that are defending the victim. You hear, and you just got to try to put both sides together and find out what you want to believe for yourself. But based on what I'm hearing, it is what it is. But like I said, we've got to look at things from both sides. We got to get all the facts before we just jump to conclusions, because there's too many people that just throw the race card in, and it's unfortunate. And this goes both ways. It's not just one side. I mean, a lot of you could be just, and I'm not blaming anybody for being racist, but it's just a natural thing to be biased. Not necessarily racist, but biased of some degree. And I know a lot from the 2020 with the George Floyd stuff. It kind of put a bad taste in our mouth about racism, and everything has to be racism now, and sometimes we just feel like, as a light-skinned male, I can't control that. It's my own thing, but it kind of got where a lot of it was, if you even said anything about all lives matter, meaning white lives, black lives, tan lives, brown lives, you were a racist, because it wasn't just about the blacks. It was about everybody. Everybody's life matters, so that makes you racist. And it just kind of makes no sense. And now a lot of people, it seems, and you may not mean to, it may not be intentional, but it seems like now you're just like, well, it was a black kid that killed a white kid. We need to, he's guilty. It was premeditated. It was first degree. Was it? I mean, are you sure about that? Depends on what the judge and the jury say, really, to be honest with you. But think about it if it was the other way around. I mean, and I'm not trying to sound racist. If you want to call me racist, whatever. But if it was the other way around, if the white kid would have killed the black kid, it most likely would have been George Floyd all over again. It would have been the George Floyd, BLM. It would have been that all over again. It would have been the BLM supporting people they would have been, hang him, he's done, he's guilty, it was hate, it was racism, it was hate crime, they would have been all over that. You know it, I know it, we all know it. And I'm not trying to sound racist, I'm just saying, based on what the past has told us, if it was the other way around, there'd be George Floyd protesting all over again. But the facts are, and not the facts that, he had a knife, but the facts are, color of the skin means nothing in any situation. The skin color means nothing. You can think what you want. You can call it a hate crime. But when it boils down to it, skin color means nothing. Some kid had to die. Some kid stabbed another kid, and the kid that got stabbed ended up dying for something he probably didn't deserve to die for. If we look at it that way, there's no racism, period. A kid killed a kid, stabbed a kid, and the kid died. for something he probably didn't deserve to die for. And that's how we need to look at it. If you want to end racism, you need to start looking at it that way. It's not the color of the skin. It's just, somebody killed somebody. A person killed a person. You want to get rid of racism, that's how you need to look at it. Not a white kid killed a black kid, or a white guy or a black guy killed a black guy. As long as you talk like that and think like that, there's always going to be racism in this world. If you just think about a kid killed a kid and the kid died and did he deserve to? Whether he was black, white, purple, blue, whatever, did he deserve to die for what he did? Most likely not. I mean, really, most likely he didn't. I mean, even if it was the other way around, he probably still didn't deserve it. It doesn't matter if it's the other way around. That's the point, is it doesn't matter if it's the other way around. Some kid died for something that, maybe he touched him, maybe he put his hands on him, maybe he was trying to physically move him out of the seat, but is it worth dying for? Was that worth killing him over? I mean, you could have just got up and left, whatever. You made your point. Get up and go. You made your point. But anyway, starting to ramble. Just get the facts before you jump to conclusions, and quit talking like skin color. Just quit talking about it, and that's how you're going to end racism. I know everybody talks about we need to end racism. Well, that's how you're going to do it. It's not going to go away any other way. But anyway, let's just be cautious out there. You've got, it's not like a law, but you got a duty to retreat if you need to in self-defense. If your life's not in imminent danger, you don't need to use lethal force. But carry your guns, carry your weapons, carry your, to protect yourself when you do need to. But just have some common sense. Don't jump to conclusions. Let's end racism the right way, not the way that the left wants us to end racism. And yeah. Anyway, that's the video for today. Appreciate you. Love you. Do the YouTube stuff. You know the drill. All the links for everything is down below. And we'll see you next time.